All right, we are out here now. I got Chief with his collar on, and we are going. We're gonna see if we can't get one. It's kind of windy tonight. Typically, if it's windy, your odds are pretty low. The raccoons, they perch in like trees. So if the tree's being jostled around by the wind, you know, it kind of sucks. So we've seen deer, pigs, and armadillos driving in already, which is a good sign. So typically, if you see a lot of other animals, your odds of seeing a raccoon are pretty high. But just based off the fact that they live out in the timber, my bad, there was a really loud noise coming by. It's just a plane. But anyways, yeah, so we'll see what happens. It's picking up. I didn't see that the wind was going to be high before we left, so I will say this: if you're going to go hunting and the wind's pretty bad, you might as well call it a night. But I'm willing to give it a shot. It's been a while since he's been out, and he needs the running around. So I'll show you guys later what happens. All right, little follow-up. He decided he wanted to go into that, which I had to yell at him and tell him no. We are not doing that tonight because this thing goes way out there. So while it is only a couple inches deep, I really don't feel like drudging through that. There might be a coon out there somewhere, but it ain't worth it. So I'm gonna get him to go back, and we're gonna hit the rim of this thing, see if he can't go into the woods. The wind has picked up a little bit, which kind of sucks, but we'll see what happens. I've been shocked before. Other than that, we'll see how it goes. Not hearing much else moving in the woods. Saw some armadillos up here, so that's typically good. But anyways, the other thing I forgot to add that's also bad about the wind is that the blowing of the air actually messes up the scent trails left behind by the things that he's hunting. So, you know, if you have a fresh trail, old trail, doesn't matter, that wind kind of blows it around and makes it kind of harder for him to sniff it out. But if it's fresh enough, he might be able to make something work. But we're gonna see. This is my Garmin. Tells me where he's at. He is, click this, straight in there at about 93 yards. So I just keep that thing on there. I've dropped that before and it sucks trying to find it. So we're gonna see. All right, I'm gonna peel this off for a second and kind of shove it in my face so you guys can see me, and it's just not me talking to a bunch of grass and trees. But he has ran off into the woods at about 100 yards, and he's quiet. So we'll see exactly what ends up happening. Typically what you'll notice is it'll be quiet, and then he will make some noise. He'll bark, which for hounds, they really don't bark, they bay, and then you'll hear it, and then it'll get choppier and choppier and choppier until I'm convinced, and then I go in there after him and make sure he's got what he's got, and we'll go and check the tree for him once he's pretty concrete in what he's chosen. So but I will say this: it is a freaking like 80-20% chance that something's actually up there. A lot of the times what'll happen is they'll just be den trees, which means that they live up there, but they're not actually up there. So the scent will be strong. Or I want to add on what I just said, they'll be up in the tree, but since they're in a hole, you won't be able to actually see them or shoot them out. So most of the time that's what happens with younger dogs, is they'll tree a den, but you know, he's not going to know any different. But anyways, back to it. All right, just a little update. Not too long after I took that last little segment of video, I was walking back because GPS showed that Chief crossed the road here onto the other side. He is about 450 yards away from where I'm at. So I'm gonna walk around on the pavement here, and we're gonna go meet up with him because he is barking his head off. So he was quiet all the way in, and now he's what looks like treed, but there's no really way to tell until you get there. Sometimes it'll kind of be like a false positive kind of thing. So we're just gonna get as close as we can, go in the woods and see if he's still there by the time I get there. Typically, if something is up the tree, by the time I get there, it'll be up there. So if it's not, if he's not convinced, he will move on to the next thing. But I can kind of hear him ever so faintly, which isn't good because he's far away. But if it isn't constant, then he isn't convinced, and if he isn't convinced, then I ain't convinced. So we'll see how it goes. Back at it. I am bobbing and weaving through a bunch of thick stuff to get to him. You guys might be able to hear him in the background. He sounds pretty locked in, so we're gonna see exactly what we got. Oh, somebody was drinking some Milwaukee's Best back here. If anyone ever wants to know what hunting in Louisiana is like, it's this. Everywhere you go, I'm gonna have to walk through this or figure out a way around. God, this sucks. Hey guys, here we go. This is Chief's tree that he's picked. You can barely see it. I'm walking around the tree. When you tree a coon, you want to look around at 360 degrees if you can. I don't know if you guys can see that glint, but it's not on this tree, it's on the next one, which it's windy. I don't out here blame them, but if you can see that glint, that's most likely a coon in that tree. And we're gonna go over there and check it out. Sometimes it's a possum, but we'll check it, see what's going on. This is a pretty promising tree. It's a pretty big one, so you guys can see that, but he's definitely got one up there, right there, where my light's at. I'll turn my laser on so you can see it. Anyways, he's up there, right where that laser's at. But Chief believes that he's on that tree right there, which is incorrecto, son. Incorrect. So we're gonna see if I can get him a tree. I don't blame him, it's super windy out here. He probably did go up that tree at some point and then moved over or something, but we gonna teach him today. I will count that. I will count that. I'll count it. It's close enough. Good enough for government work. Come on, son. Please hit that tree. Please hit that tree. Nope. Nope. He's sold. Be all right. He's kind of close. Chief, come here, boy. All right, everyone. This is the aftermath. So Chief treed this tree, and the coon was up here, up in that little fork right there. So I'm not sure what the hell happened. I don't know if he tapped the tree or what, but close enough for me, good enough for me. We're out here trying to kill as many as we can anyways. So, I want to talk about some of the tactics that we use out here, and I'm going to try not to shine that light in my face because it's freaking bright and I can't see anything. But when you get up to a tree and your dog is on the tree, you know, at the base of it, you want to work around that tree 360 degrees, because sometimes they'll be in like little forks and stuff, like way up, and you'll never tell they're there until you get to the backside. And that was kind of the case with this one. I could kind of see the eye glint from the front, but I had to move like over here to look up and see his tail. And typically, I don't know if you guys can see this, but a raccoon and an oak tree or sweet gum tree, they blend in pretty freaking good. So you kind of have to look at that tail. That tail right there gives them away versus their coat. So anyways, if you're getting into this and you want to do it right, do a 360 scan of that tree. I hit the squaller to see if anything was in this tree. I got nothing, but soon after I moved to the front of this one, I could see that he was up here. So I went ahead and just shot him out for him. When he hit the ground, he was not dead. They proceeded to fight, which in that case, you want to dispatch your game as quickly as you can to make it ethical. I don't recommend, well, it depends on who you talk to. The dogs seem to really enjoy fighting them, but can't condone that. So get over to them as quickly as you can if they're not dead yet, and go ahead and dispatch them humanely, and then let him do his thing. So you want to reward your dog when he does get a piece of game. Want to make sure that he's happy because that's why he's out here. That's kind of his reward. I like positive reinforcement for training these animals. If he, you know, trees a den, or if he, you know, trees one that's not up there, don't whoop his ass. Just, you know, move on to the next thing, get his attention off of it. And it tends to work out pretty well. I'm only ever going to reward him for that. Not a possum, not anything else, just a coon. And that is all he will tree now. So you can see he's pretty happy with what he's got. He's just going to sit here and chew on it. He's kind of scratched up. He got into a little bit of a scuffle, but other than that, he's all right. He's got his rabies shot. Oh, and that's the other thing. If you're going to have a coon hunting dog, get your rabies shot. Don't mess around with it, because rabies, once they get it, you cannot cure it. You will basically have to put your dog down. So do the right thing. Get him and whatever dog you have their shots. Make sure they're good to go. And this is basically what the outcome can be. You can have a successful hunt. And we've been out here for maybe an hour, and we had a pretty quick night. So depending on how the rest of this goes, you may see if we can double up, or we're going to see if this is going to be it. I'd like to get back at a reasonable time, and you know, one is good enough for me. So that will probably, unless we hit one on the way back, conclude our video. But that's a good boy. Good job, Chief. We haven't been out here since freaking like late summer. Ain't that right? But he's getting older now. He's probably 5 years old, so he's kind of locked into his habits and what he wants to do, and all he wants to do is hunt. So I'm pretty happy with the way this came out. Alrighty, so we have our prize in hand, and we're headed back to the truck. This is what I was kind of talking about when I talk about the receiver sight. It's a tiny little levee, and then these hardwoods next to it. Bring some raccoons in like crazy, and we come here all the time trying to thin them out a little bit. Now, the only bad part is we got about 18,000 acres of federal land out here that we can hunt on, provided we buy our state and base licenses. But you know, I'm probably one of 3 people here on the entire installation that actually coon hunt, which is nice because you never see anybody. But the bad part is there's a lot of raccoons, and it's not just here. This is actually one of the areas that are just kind of sort of off the main road, I guess you could say, as to where the actual meat and potatoes of the hunting land is past a gate kind of further down. So I don't really hunt past that because I have to get codes, and sometimes I'm just lazy. And honestly, we usually kill so many here that I don't ever really worry about it. So regardless, we are headed back almost to the truck now, and I'm gonna see where the hell he went. He like dove off in there somewhere, which I'm not going in there to get him, but I am going back home to drink some wine. Peace out.